The big lie that we tend to accept about creating the life that we want is that it takes struggle and that we must suffer to have what we want, create what we want. But is that absolutely true? I'm going to challenge that in this video. If we can narrow everything down to one thing that we're struggling with, then that means that we can solve it with just one solution. I know that sounds incredibly simple, but it's actually true. I've experienced it in my own life. I spent the last 14 years struggling through many setbacks, including depression. Actually, I went through depression twice. So I wanted to understand what is the nature of suffering so that I could finally resolve it. And it took me in a lot of different places, including learning NLP, Neuro Linguistic Programming, which is now what I teach and coach. And yes, I have created the life that I want to live, and I am more fulfilled than I have ever been. And I can teach this. What I've learned about the struggle in life is, first of all, that we just accept it, that is part of it, that we have to go through this. That is the first mistake that we make. The other thing that most people don't understand is that the way you feel about yourself determines everything in your life. How you show up in every context of your life, your behavior, your decisions. It ultimately determines how you create the life that you're living right now. The life you are living this very moment is a reflection of how you feel about yourself. So let's talk about how you feel about you right now. If I just said, how do you feel right now? You could tell me, because feelings are something we're often very conscious of. When we don't feel good about ourselves, we tend to be very conscious of that. We may project it out. We may say, well, that's this other thing that's causing me to feel that way. But we ultimately feel good, or we feel bad, or we feel indifferent. The point is that we're conscious of the feelings. So most people think that the solution is to go directly at the feeling, to change the feeling. If I don't feel good, I would just go change that feeling. And this is why affirmations and fake it till you make it is so popular in personal development, but it's also why those things don't work, because you can say these affirmations in the mirror repeatedly, and you might feel a little boost, you might feel a little good about that, and then you walk out the front door and you get thrown curveballs, you get thrown contrary feedback. You're not the person you thought you were, that you told yourself you were in the mirror, and now you crash and you feel bad because there's no underlying structure that's really holding how you feel in place. It was just a temporary boost. And the same thing with fake it till you make it. It's really just, you're getting really good at being fake, which also comes from an underlying insecurity. Faking it makes you even more secure, more self-conscious, because you know deep down that you're faking it. This is also true for arrogance. So when we talk about feeling better about yourself, we're not talking about arrogance. I think a lot of people confuse that, because if you're listening to me say that, how you feel about yourself is going to determine everything in your life, you might go, oh, well, okay, well, is he saying that I need to be arrogant? Because I look at arrogant people and I think, well, it looks like they think very highly of themselves. And do I have to be that way? And no, because arrogance is the opposite of that. Arrogance actually comes from a deep insecurity. Arrogance is overcompensation for that insecurity. Arrogant people don't feel good about themselves. So that is not at all what I'm getting at. You cannot go at your feelings directly to change them, because to do so is to presuppose that feelings just create themselves. They don't. If you look at the ocean, the first thing you see is the waves. That's what's coming over the surface. Those are like your feelings. But we don't think that the waves just create themselves. We know that there's a vast ocean underneath that. There's all these undercurrents that are coming together to finally create this push in the water where the wave comes up, peaks, and then crashes. Those are your feelings as well. You have this vast underlying currents within you that are coming up, and this is where your feelings are coming from. You're just not conscious of those undercurrents. You're not conscious of the vastness of what is creating that. Before I get into where those feelings come from, it's so important that you understand why feelings are so important. If you don't feel good about you, and this is also confidence, this is self-esteem. If you don't feel good about you, you aren't going to do as much as you could do. You're not going to try at all, or you won't try hard enough. You might think you'll fail, or you'll be disappointed. And if you already don't feel good about you, you certainly don't want to risk feeling worse about you. And this is why people don't try. This is why they say, I'm not ready yet. Or, I'm just going to wait for a while. And waiting does not change anything. Your feelings are still what they are. The structures beneath that are very unconscious are still in place. They actually are quite stable. So waiting does not change anything. What happens while you wait is you get older. While you wait, life passes you by. While you wait, your potential is narrowing and going away because you're not working it. You're not fulfilling it. The more you fulfill your potential, the more potential you have. It just keeps generating and growing more and more. So waiting is not the solution. If you don't feel good about yourself right now, don't expect to feel better about yourself in 10 years by doing nothing. We have to do something. There needs to be an intervention. There needs to be a solution, and I'm going to give that to you. By this point, I hope you're wondering where feelings actually do come from, because this is where the work really begins, where we start to really understand this, and that is your beliefs. Your feelings are a byproduct of your beliefs. So you cannot change your feelings directly, as I already mentioned, and I'll give you an example of why that doesn't work, because what I find most in personal development is people don't understand emotion. They don't understand what feelings are about and where they come from. And you'll hear like these practices, like go make a vision board and make sure you attach emotion to it. That makes absolutely no sense. If you're looking at a vision board and you don't feel it, you don't feel compelled to create that life, or you don't feel energized and motivated automatically, then it's not compelling. It's not motivating. It's not like you're going to attach some of that emotion to it and it's suddenly all going to work out. That's not how it works. Your emotions do not create themselves. They are a response to what you're taking in from the outside world, what you're seeing and hearing, or it's a response to what's happening inside of you, your internal representations. So for example, if I put a picture in front of you, a big picture of something really sad, something that makes you sad, and you were forced to look at it, your response to that image is going to be sadness. And then what if I told you, feel better about it, feel happy about this image? Well, you're just not going to do that, because that is not your emotional response to seeing something that you perceive as being sad. Now, what I could do is I could then shrink that image down, make it very dark, make it very dim, maybe put some more distance between you and the image, and now it's not going to feel so terrible anymore. It's not going to feel so sad. And then what if I surrounded that dark little image of something sad with really happy, positive images, and they were all stuck together? So that dark, dim, sad image is outnumbered by positive, happy images. How do you think that's going to affect you? When you see that with all the happy, positive images surrounding the dim, negative image, you're going to feel happy. That's going to be your emotional response, with the acknowledgement that life's not perfect. There are mistakes. You make mistakes. No big deal. In general, in the context of what you're seeing, life is good, and you can feel happy about that. So what I just explained there is basically how your beliefs are structured. Your beliefs have a structure. When you believe beliefs about yourself that you value, you're going to feel good about yourself. Not only that, the beliefs are very stable. They're very structured. They are the iceberg beneath the water that you don't see. They are the vastness of the currents of the ocean, and those waves are those emotions. So this is what holds that in place. So you naturally feel good about yourself, and that stays very, very stable. It's not like it just comes and goes. Now, of course, there are going to be times where you're going to experience negative experiences, and yeah, that'll take a dip, but your beliefs are very resilient. So you will bounce back up out of that. The same is true for negative beliefs that you have about yourself. They're very resilient. They're very structured. They're very grounded and stable. So if you believe negative things about yourself, you're going to feel bad about yourself. So for example, if I value success, but I believe I'm a failure, I'm going to feel really bad about myself. If I value happiness, but I feel depressed, I'm going to feel really bad about myself, because I don't believe I am what I value. And as a result, my behavior will reflect that. Because I believe I'm a failure, my behavior will align to that, even though it's not what I want. And why would we do that? Your beliefs are your lived experiences organized into a structure that feels certain. And you are hardwired to move towards certainty. We're hardwired this way because in our evolution, probably millions of years ago, certainty was survival. And survival was about creating certainty. If things were uncertain, then you were under threat. So to act out of alignment with your beliefs creates uncertainty, and that uncertainty communicates to your unconscious, we're under threat. So we get very scared, and we try to immediately move away from that chaos and confusion to more certainty. And this is where those belief structures are really important. Now, the good news is we don't have to trade off happiness with certainty. You can create beliefs about yourself that you're happy and be certain about that. And then you automatically align with that. Your decisions, your behavior, all of that aligns with that. And guess what? You end up creating a happy life as a result. So to summarize this portion of it, How you feel about yourself is based on what you believe about yourself, both positive and negative. And most of us are carrying around very limiting and negative beliefs about ourselves. We're also carrying the positive ones too. So this is why we don't feel as good about ourselves as we could be. And this is what's causing the struggle. You do not need to struggle this way. You can transform all of your beliefs into positive beliefs about yourself, and that ends the struggle. That will fundamentally change the way that you think about struggling and suffering. For example, I honestly can say I don't really struggle. I don't really suffer, not the internal stuff. Now, I go to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practice, and if you were to see me in practice sparring with someone, you might say, Damon, you look like you're struggling. Yeah, that's true. I'm struggling in the moment and in sort of external context, but I'm not struggling on the inside. I'm not struggling with me. I feel good about me, and that is not in an arrogant way. I feel good about me because I believe I am what I value. To this day, it's really hard for me to find negative beliefs because I've transformed them all, but if I do find one, then I know what to do and I can transform it and turn it into a positive belief. So really, I can honestly say I don't really suffer or I don't really struggle. And this is not because I'm any great talent or intelligence. This is something anyone can do. So imagine only having positive beliefs about yourself. And this doesn't mean that you don't acknowledge your imperfections. You acknowledge your imperfections. And in fact, in the acknowledgement of your imperfections, that strengthens these positive beliefs about yourself. What I mean by this is, I believe I'm a successful person. I can fail. That doesn't mean I'm not successful. That just means I sort of made a wrong turn. And I correct that. And a successful person does. The most successful people fail more than anyone else. That's what is required. That's a necessary ingredient of success. So just when I fail, I don't go, oh gee, I'm not a successful person. I just think, okay, that I need to try another way, and I will keep trying that way until I succeed. And that's what these certain solid beliefs do for us. They're very resilient, like I mentioned earlier. Now, the opposite is true. If you have very negative beliefs about yourself, you will find a way to select and collect whatever information is happening around you to verify that belief, to confirm that belief, and your behavior will align to that belief. So you will keep recreating the struggle and the suffering, and this is absolutely unnecessary. All of your beliefs about yourself, positive and negative, come together to form a bigger generalization, a bigger belief, and this is what we call identity. Now, the term for it is called self-concept, and my mentor, Steve Andreas, created a model, an NLP model called the self-concept model. And this model shows us how to reveal that structure of our identity and how to understand what it is that we believe about ourselves so that we can transform it. And it gets to the heart of what a belief actually is. And a belief is actually structure. Most people don't think of it this way. They think of a belief as, well, I had these experiences, therefore that's what I believe, or this is the information I've taken in, and this is what I believe. That is part of what a belief is, but it's actually the smallest part of what a belief is. Think about it this way. If you were to look at a house, and I were to ask you some questions about it, like what is a house? And the house that you're looking at this very moment, what is it made of, or how would you define it? And immediately your attention would go to the materials that the house is made of. And you would say, okay, well, this house it's a brick house. It's also made with wood. It also has a bunch of nails in it. The majority of your emphasis on what the house is would be the material. And then I would come around and tell you, actually, no, the house is actually a structure. Because if you saw all of these materials just scattered on the ground, not put together, you wouldn't call that a house. Think about that. You see every bit of a house, all of its parts, but it's not held together. It's not in a structure. No one would look at that and call that a house. A house is its construction. A house is its structure that holds all of the material together. Beliefs work the same way. The lived experiences that you've had are the raw material. The belief itself is how that raw material is organized and structured. It's at this point that most people think, and this is probably what you're thinking as well, you're thinking, okay, I've got to go out there and generate some raw material. I've got to go out there and start having more experiences. So how long does it take to create these beliefs? How long does it take to transform yourself into the person you want to be so you feel good about yourself? And as a result of feeling good about yourself, you have that confidence to go out in the world and create the life that you want. Are you expecting me to say 10 years, maybe 20 years? What if I told you less than a year? What if I told you not even a month? What if I told you you can actually do it in minutes? You probably think I'm crazy at this moment. You actually can. And here's why. You already have all of the raw material to be the you want to be. What's happening though is the way your beliefs are structured right now, delete and overlook all of these wonderful experiences that you've had. You are not accessing a wealth of experience that will support you in every belief you value, every belief you want to believe about yourself. And this is what I mean, that your struggle, your suffering comes down to one thing: how you feel about yourself. And the solution is to transform those beliefs about yourself that you value so that now you feel good about yourself. Now you feel confident. Now you feel happy, fulfilled, and satisfied. And you already contain all of the raw material to have those beliefs. You might be feeling a certain amount of skepticism right now about what I'm saying. And actually, I think that's a very healthy thing. I don't want you to just take my word for it. I want to prove it to you. But before I do, if you're looking for any resources to get started on this path, there's one in the description of this video. It's a values elicitation. When most people don't know about themselves is what their deeper values are. Most people think they know what their values are. Most people are getting confused with their personal values combined with their societal values, their cultural values, the values that they were taught to believe were important to them. And not that those things aren't important. What you really need to know and understand is what are your own personal values. So there's a PDF in the description of this video that you can use to elicit those, and you're really eliciting them from your deeper unconscious. And this is such important information to understand, because when your behavior aligns with your values, you will feel it immediately. Your self-esteem will go up. You'll feel better about yourself. Now, that can feel temporary though, until you transform that value into a belief, which is the next step after that. Seeing is believing, and I want you to see this in practice so that you can realize that what I'm saying here is true. What I'm saying here can absolutely work for you. And I want you to see me working with a client. His name is George, and we did 6 transformations in over 8 sessions. And one of the big ones for him was courage. He did not believe that he was a courageous person. This was causing a severe limitation in his life, and it was really holding him back. And in just one session, he realized that he had all of these examples in his life of being a courageous person. He just wasn't accessing it. All we had to do was pull it in and map it into that structure of a belief that already feels certain and that he likes about himself. And you will see this happen in real time, him transforming before your eyes when you watch this video right here.